Welcome to Sleepy Theories. In this video, we'll explore 100 theories about the dinosaur. Right now, there's only one thing you need to do. Relax. Put on your headphones. Turn off the lights. There's nowhere you need to rush to. This video is here to help you sleep. 1. Asteroid impact caused the mass extinction of dinosaurs. This theory explains one of the strongest reasons dinosaurs disappeared from Earth. Around 66 million years ago, a massive asteroid struck the planet. The collision did not just cause destruction, it dramatically changed the global climate. The impact threw enormous amounts of dust and debris into the atmosphere, blocking sunlight for a long period. The Earth cooled rapidly, plant growth declined, which in turn limited food for herbivores and ultimately led predators to face starvation. Fossil records show that many species vanished at the same time. This extinction was not instantaneous but unfolded over thousands of years as a chain of catastrophic events. Tsunamis and fires triggered by the impact further shook ecosystems, and the planet changed quietly but profoundly. This theory reminds us of the fragility of life, its dependence on environmental balance, and the power of time. The dinosaurs' extinction invites us to think of the past as a long, calm process shaped by sudden and unexpected natural events. 2. Massive volcanic eruptions, accelerated extinction. This theory suggests that the dinosaurs' mass extinction should not be attributed solely to an asteroid. Around the same time, massive volcanic eruptions occurred in different parts of the Earth, putting additional stress on ecosystems. These eruptions filled the atmosphere with thick layers of lava and ash, and released carbon dioxide and sulfur gases, causing sudden climate changes. Surface temperatures rose or fluctuated rapidly, directly affecting plants and animals. Acidic rains from volcanic activity disrupted lakes and oceans, further destabilizing food chains and making survival difficult for herbivores and predators alike, accelerating the catastrophe. This theory highlights how sensitive life is to environmental changes. Dinosaur extinction appears as a silent but profound chain of events shaped by multiple natural forces, inviting us to think of the past as a long and calm process shaped by the complex and layered effects of nature. 3. Most dinosaurs were feathered, not just scaled. This theory challenges old assumptions about dinosaur appearance. Fossil records and well-preserved feather imprints show that many dinosaurs were not only covered in scales, but also adorned with feathers. Feathers initially may have helped regulate body temperature, keep offspring warm, or serve as tools for communication. Over time, in some species, they evolved for flight, laying the foundation for the emergence of birds. Feather color, structure, and distribution reveal how dinosaurs adapted to environmental conditions and social interactions. This theory reminds us that the past was not monotonous. Dinosaur diversity extended beyond size and species, and life unfolded in complex, colorful, and functional ways, a quiet but impressive process. The past invites us to think of life as a long, calm process enriched with details and varied survival strategies. 4. Birds are the living descendants of dinosaurs. This theory shows that dinosaurs did not entirely disappear. Some of their traits persist today. Fossil records and genetic analyses indicate that birds share a strong evolutionary connection with small carnivorous dinosaurs. Birds carry the legacy of dinosaurs in their feather structures, bone arrangements, and behaviors. Their flight abilities and social behaviors are continuations of evolutionary adaptations. This demonstrates that extinction is not absolute and that life continues in different forms. This theory illustrates how the silent giants of the past reached the present through transformation and adaptation. Life unfolds as a long, calm process of continuous evolution, inviting us to view the past as a long, quiet process whose traces persist in living beings. 5. Wing evolution in dinosaurs followed multiple paths. This theory reveals that the development of flight in dinosaurs did not follow a single path but evolved through various strategies across species. Fossil evidence shows that some small carnivorous dinosaurs had feathers on their forelimbs forming wing-like structures, while others developed different wing adaptations for balance or hunting. The function of wings varied. Some were sufficient for gliding or partial flight, others for display, communication, or thermoregulation. This diversity demonstrates that evolution works with multiple strategies rather than one fixed solution, and that life adapts to environmental challenges in various ways. This theory highlights the quiet complexity of the past. Dinosaur wing evolution shows how life adapts through multiple pathways, with each species finding its own approach. It invites us to think of the past as a long, calm process shaped by diversity and adaptation. 6. Dinosaurs' wing-like limbs were used for social communication. This theory suggests that dinosaur wing-like limbs did not evolve solely for flight, but also played a role in social interaction within species. Fossil and feather evidence shows that some dinosaurs used their forelimbs for display, intimidation, or signaling. Colorful or patterned feathers, spreading and folding wings, and specific movements may have provided visual cues for social hierarchy, mating, or group coordination. This indicates that behavioral complexity and communication have very deep evolutionary roots. The theory reminds us that even in the silent world of the past, living beings interacted. Dinosaur limbs were not just physical tools but part of a visual and social language, shaped through a long, calm evolutionary process. It invites us to understand the past through the traces of behavior and communication. 7. Color variation in dinosaurs served as social signals. This theory shows that the color and pattern diversity in dinosaurs was not purely aesthetic but functional for social interaction within species. Fossilized feather imprints and microscopic pigment structures indicate that some species had bright or contrasting colors. These colors may have been used in mating rituals to attract partners, signal dominance or threats, or help recognition within groups. Color and pattern remind us that life carried not just physical but also social dimensions, and organisms communicated in complex ways. The theory highlights that even in the silent past, animals developed visual languages. Dinosaur coloration emerged as a long, calm evolutionary process, shaping social structure and interactions. It invites us to explore the past through the traces and harmonies of life. 8. Some dinosaur species moved in coordinated herds. This theory demonstrates that dinosaurs were capable of collective behavior and that herd living provided evolutionary advantages. Fossil sites and trackways show that some herbivorous dinosaurs moved together in coordinated ways. Herd behavior offered protection from predators, defense for young, and more efficient use of food resources. Such coordinated movement shows early traces of social bonds and communication, where each individual acted in harmony with the group for survival. The theory reminds us that even in the silent past, community and cooperation mattered. Dinosaur herd behavior reflects not just physical but social and strategic adaptation, inviting us to view the past as a long, calm process of coordination and group survival. 9. Dinosaurs exhibited complex predator-prey strategies. This theory shows that survival was not based solely on strength but also on intelligence, agility, and strategy. Fossil evidence and trackways indicate that some predators planned movements and that predator-prey interactions involved more than brute force. Small carnivores coordinated attacks using speed and agility, while large predators used stealth and ambush. Herbivores developed group movements, sudden flight, and environmental use strategies. Survival was a multidimensional process. The theory reminds us that even in the silent past, organisms responded to their environment with intelligence and adaptation. Dinosaur predator-prey strategies were shaped by planning and cooperation, forming a long, calm evolutionary process that invites us to understand the past through behavior and environmental adaptation. 10. Velociraptor was not a lone hunter, but a small pack predator. This theory suggests that Velociraptor did not hunt alone but in small groups, gaining social and strategic advantages. Fossil evidence indicates multiple individuals moved together, coordinating attacks. Group hunting allowed them to take down larger or more agile prey effectively, reduce individual risk, and increase feeding success. Velociraptor's agile body, sharp claws, and social behaviors formed the basis of this pack strategy. The theory reminds us that even in the silent past, social organization and cooperation were critical for survival. Velociraptor's behavior reflects a long, calm evolutionary process, shaped by strategy and social harmony, inviting us to understand the past through social interaction and coordinated adaptation. 11. Long-necked sauropods evolved air sacs to breathe efficiently. This theory suggests that sauropods with enormous necks adapted not only in size but also in respiratory and metabolic systems. Fossil evidence shows air sacs in their vertebrae and ribs. These air sacs reduced body weight, making movement easier, and increased lung capacity for efficient oxygen intake. This allowed sauropods to reach high vegetation and support massive bodies while using energy efficiently. The theory reminds us that life can find creative solutions to physical limits. Sauropods' respiratory system reflects a long, calm evolutionary process balancing massive size with environmental adaptation, inviting us to understand the past through structure-function harmony. 12. Dinosaur lungs were phylogenetically similar to birds. This theory shows that dinosaurs shared not only skeletal structures, but also internal organs and respiratory systems with modern birds. Fossil bones and air sac traces indicate a complex, efficient lung system similar to birds. This structure ensured effective oxygen transport, supported high metabolism, and accommodated active lifestyles. Fast, agile predators especially relied on this system for energy-demanding hunting. The similarity highlights close evolutionary links and shared strategies in respiration and energy use. The theory reminds us of life's subtle, complex evolutionary harmony. Dinosaur lungs represent long-calm processes of biological efficiency and phylogenetic continuity, inviting reflection on past adaptation through organ structure and function. 13. Dinosaurs evolved behaviorally during environmental stress. This theory suggests dinosaurs adapted not only physically but also behaviorally during environmental stress periods. Fossil records indicate some species modified feeding, hunting, and social behaviors to cope with changing conditions. Challenges like drought, climate shifts, or food scarcity led herbivores and predators to adjust group behavior, migration patterns, and hunting strategies. Evolution proceeded not only through genetics but also through behavioral flexibility. The theory reminds us that life continually seeks subtle adaptation. Behavioral evolution in dinosaurs reflects a long, calm process responding to environmental pressures, inviting us to understand the past through traces of flexibility and adaptation. 14. Dinosaur brains varied dramatically by species. This theory shows that cognitive and behavioral capacities depended on species. Fossil skulls and brain cavities reveal that some dinosaurs developed complex thought and hunting strategies, while others survived with simple reflexes. Predators had larger brains for hunting and group coordination, while massive sauropods had smaller brains aligned with slower growth and herbivorous lifestyles. These differences reflect how lifestyle, environmental demands, and evolutionary pressures shaped brain development. The theory reminds us that even in the silent past, intelligence and behavior varied widely. Dinosaur brains reveal long, calm processes of mental adaptation, inviting us to interpret the past through cognitive and behavioral harmony. 15. T-Rex exhibited both active hunting and scavenging. This theory suggests that Tyrannosaurus rex was not only a powerful predator, but also an opportunistic feeder. Fossil and toothmark analysis shows it hunted live prey and consumed carcasses. This dual feeding strategy increased survival, optimizing energy and risk balance. T-Rex's strong jaws and sharp teeth allowed both hunting and efficient scavenging, making the most of available resources. The theory reminds us of the past's complex ecosystems. T-Rex behavior reflects long-com evolutionary processes shaped by strategy and flexibility, inviting us to understand the past through hunting and feeding strategies. 16 Nanotyrannus could be a distinct small tyrannosaur species. This theory suggests that the small tyrannosaur fossils called Nanotyrannus may represent a separate species rather than juvenile T-Rex individuals. Certain skull and skeletal proportions hint at a unique anatomy. Differences in teeth count, skull shape, and bone structure indicate that this small tyrannosaur could have had its own hunting and survival strategies. If true, multiple tyrannosaur species of different sizes and roles coexisted during the same period. The theory reminds us that the past was not just dominated by a single type of giant predator. Dinosaur diversity included specialization even within related lineages, shaping life through a long, calm evolutionary process. It invites reflection on subtle details and small differences in the fossil record. 19. Dinosaurs exhibited vocal communication. This theory suggests dinosaurs communicated not only through body language and visual signals but also through sounds. Skull cavities, inner ear structures, and bone resonance chambers imply developed abilities for producing and perceiving sound. These sounds may have coordinated group behavior, warned of danger, communicated with young, or attracted mates. Different species likely produced diverse sounds, creating a richer acoustic environment than previously imagined. The theory reminds us that the past wasn't silent but had its own rhythms and voices. Dinosaur vocal communication reflects a long, calm evolutionary process in social behavior, inviting reflection on past life through sound and interaction traces. 20. Dinosaur social structures resembled modern bird flocks. This theory proposes that some dinosaur species had social organizations similar to modern bird flocks. Fossil nesting sites, trackways, and clustered skeletal remains suggest that these dinosaurs preferred group living over solitary existence. Flock behavior facilitated finding food, protection from predators, and higher survival of offspring. Group hierarchy, communication, and coordinated movement helped dinosaurs maintain balanced interactions with their environment. The theory creates a quiet bridge between past and present. Similarities between dinosaur social structures and modern bird flocks show that some behavioral patterns persist over long evolutionary times. Life shaped through community and collective survival forms a long, calm process, inviting reflection on social evolution. 21. Dinosaurs rapidly genetically adapted to major Earth changes. This theory suggests that over their long existence, dinosaurs didn't just rely on behavior, but could rapidly adjust their genetic makeup to cope with major environmental changes like climate shifts, sea level fluctuations, and vegetation transformations. Fossil evidence of quick species diversification and sudden morphological changes implies a dynamic adaptation process. Periods with rapidly emerging new species indicate that environmental pressures could swiftly shape genetic diversity. This allowed dinosaurs to survive millions of years under changing conditions, not merely through resilience but through constant adaptation and renewal. The theory reminds us that life is not static but in a continuous search for balance. Dinosaur genetic adaptation reflects a long calm evolutionary process in harmony with Earth's rhythms, inviting reflection on change and survival. 22. Dinosaurs occupied diverse ecological feeding niches. This theory proposes that dinosaurs weren't simply divided into herbivores and carnivores, but filled a wide array of feeding roles within their ecosystems. Teeth, jaw shapes, and stomach content fossils reveal that some species ate tough plants. others softer vegetation, and some consumed both plant and animal matter. This diversity likely allowed multiple species to coexist without direct competition. Each species specializing in a different food source created a more balanced and sustainable ecosystem. The theory reminds us that dinosaur life wasn't uniform or simplistic. Diversity in feeding niches demonstrates life's complex yet harmonious balance, inviting reflection on ecosystems and interspecies roles as part of a long, calm evolutionary process. 23. Dinosaur evolution was shaped by continental drift. This theory suggests that dinosaur diversification and speciation were closely linked to the slow movement of Earth's continents. As Pangaea broke apart, land masses became isolated, separating dinosaur populations that once shared the same range. Geographic isolation, combined with local climates, vegetation, and environmental pressures, allowed species to evolve differently in each region. Fossil records showing regional variations and unique species indicate that continental drift was a quiet but powerful driver of evolutionary diversity. The theory reminds us that even slow planetary movements can deeply influence life. Dinosaur evolution unfolded as a long, calm process shaped by shifting continents, inviting reflection on geography and time as co-authors of evolutionary history. 24. Dinosaurs developed diverse adaptation strategies to climate change. This theory suggests that across their long history, dinosaurs responded to warming, cooling, droughts, and humid phases, not in a uniform way, but with species-specific adaptations. Some changed body structure or feather coverage to regulate temperature. Others migrated or altered habitats to survive. Changes in diet, body size, and social behavior reveal how powerful climate pressures were on evolution. Fossil evidence of sudden diversification and extinction shows that adaptation was often challenging. The theory reminds us that there isn't a single path to survival. Dinosaur adaptation strategies represent a long, calm balancing act in sync with environmental rhythms, inviting reflection on climate and resilience. 25. Dinosaurs achieved gigantic sizes through Darwinian selection. This theory suggests that some dinosaur species reached extraordinary sizes not by chance but through the gradual effects of natural selection. Larger bodies could offer protection from predators, access to broader food sources, and competitive advantages. Over generations, individuals with such traits survived and reproduced, gradually increasing average body size. Sauropods, the massive herbivores, exemplify this process, with bone structures and growth patterns showing slow but steady evolutionary development. The theory reminds us that nature operates patiently. The gigantism of dinosaurs emerged from the accumulation of small advantages over long periods, forming a long, calm process of evolutionary balance. It invites reflection on size, survival, and the quiet work of natural selection. 26 dinosaur species showed signs of sexual selection. This theory proposes that some physical traits in dinosaurs evolved not just for survival but to improve mating success. Horns, crests, colorful feathers, or elaborate bone structures may have served as signals to attract mates or compete within the species, rather than for defense or feeding. Fossil records, showing pronounced ornamentation and interspecies variations suggest sexual selection was an influential evolutionary force. Individuals with these traits likely had more reproductive success, passing on their genes and making these features more prominent over generations. This theory reminds us that evolution is not solely about survival. Dinosaur forms also reflect display, preference, and competition in a long, calm evolutionary process, inviting reflection on aesthetics and choice in the past. 27. Some dinosaur species adapted to aquatic life. This theory suggests that not all dinosaurs were strictly terrestrial. Some developed adaptations for life in water. Bone density, limb structures, and fossil locations indicate that certain species may have lived closely with rivers, lakes, or coastal environments. For species feeding on fish or navigating shallow waters, swimming-friendly body shapes and specialized movements provided significant advantages. Such adaptations expanded food sources and opened new habitats away from competition. This theory reminds us that dinosaur life was more versatile than assumed. Aquatic adaptation represents a long, calm evolutionary process shaped by environmental opportunities, inviting reflection on the land-to-water transitions in the past. 28. Flying pterosaurs developed a parallel flight evolution. This theory suggests that pterosaurs developed flight independently, in parallel with dinosaur evolution. Wing structures, lightweight bones, and muscle arrangements show that their ability to fly arose as a distinct biological solution. While some dinosaurs evolved forelimbs into wings, pterosaurs achieved aerial adaptation with different skeletal arrangements and membrane wings. This demonstrates how similar environmental pressures can produce different, functional solutions across groups. This theory reminds us that evolution is not a single path. Pterosaur flight evolved in parallel but independently, as a long, calm process of adaptation, inviting reflection on alternative evolutionary routes to the skies. 29 marine reptiles were part of the dinosaur ecosystem. Although not technically dinosaurs, marine reptiles like ichthyosaurs, plesiosaurs, and mosasaurs were key members of Mesozoic ecosystems. They occupied top positions in oceanic food webs, while dinosaurs dominated land. The land and sea worlds were not completely separate. Changes in climate, sea level, and coastal ecosystems affected both marine reptiles and terrestrial dinosaurs. Fossil evidence shows these groups flourished and declined in tandem during different periods. This theory reminds us that the past wasn't a single stage. Dinosaurs and marine reptiles coexisted in interconnected ecosystems, forming a long, calm balance between land and sea. 30. Dinosaur skin pigments carried social signals. This theory suggests that coloration in dinosaur skin and feathers served not just for camouflage but also for communication. Microscopic pigment structures preserved in fossils indicate that different species, and even individuals within a species, had distinct colors and patterns. These colors may have been used for mate selection, species recognition, or threat display. Brighter or more contrasting individuals could stand out in flocks or signal specific social roles. Coloration thus functioned not only for appearance but also as part of social structure. This theory reminds us that dinosaur life was more visually and socially complex than imagined. Skin pigments carried subtle messages, forming a long, calm evolutionary process of communication, inviting reflection on signals and social interactions in the past. 31. Dinosaur body behaviors adjusted to environmental signals. This theory suggests that dinosaurs' postures, movements, and daily behaviors were flexible, responding to environmental conditions. Factors like temperature, humidity, predator pressure, or food abundance may have led even the same species to display different behavioral patterns at different times. Fossil trackways and bone load marks indicate periods of faster or more cautious movement. This flexibility shows that dinosaurs adapted not only physically but also behaviorally to their surroundings. This theory reminds us that life was shaped not by rigid rules but by calm responses to changing conditions. Dinosaur body behavior can be seen as part of a long, quiet adaptation process, inviting reflection on the delicate balance between movement and environment. 32. Some species' brains evolved according to herd leadership roles. This theory proposes that in herd-living species, brain structure and behavior may have adapted to roles within the group. Individuals who led, detected danger first, or initiated movement may have developed enhanced perception and decision-making, and these traits could have been selected over time. Fossil evidence of skull and brain cavity differences suggests variable cognitive roles even within the same species. This implies that dinosaurs were not only herd-living, but also organized in structured communities with role differentiation. This theory reminds us that intelligence and behavior evolved not just for individual survival, but for group coordination. Dinosaur brain evolution reflects a long, calm process, responding to herd dynamics, inviting thought on leadership and collective adaptation in the past. 33 dinosaurs developed defense strategies according to terrain complexity. This theory suggests that dinosaurs' defense strategies and body features evolved in response to their environment. Species on open plains relied on speed and long-distance vision, while those in forests or rugged areas benefited from camouflage, armor, or spikes. Bone plates, horns, tail spikes, and thick skin show multiple solutions shaped by environmental pressures. Fossils from different regions reveal terrain-specific defenses, indicating that the landscape quietly guided evolutionary outcomes. This theory reminds us that nature establishes distinct balances for each habitat. Dinosaur defense evolution reflects a long, calm adaptation process aligned with the environment, inviting reflection on the subtle relationship between terrain and body design. 34. Dinosaur interactions and plant evolution progressed together. This theory suggests that the relationship between dinosaurs and plants was not one-way. Both influenced each other over long periods. Herbivorous dinosaurs' feeding habits affected plant spread, while changes in vegetation guided dinosaur body structures and behaviors. Some plants developed tougher leaves, faster growth, or more abundant seeds, while dinosaur teeth, jaw, strength, and digestive systems adapted to these changes. Fossil evidence shows this long, mutual evolutionary influence. This theory reminds us that ecosystems are shaped by relationships, not just individual species. Dinosaurs and plants were part of a long, calm coevolutionary process, inviting reflection on the quiet harmony between life forms. 35. Dinosaurs may have challenged mammal emergence. This theory suggests that during the long reign of dinosaurs, early mammals did not evolve in isolation but interacted indirectly with dominant reptiles. While dinosaurs dominated, mammals remained smaller, more secretive, and often nocturnal, developing different survival strategies. At times, dinosaur diversity increased, while mammals evolved flexibility and resilience. This suggests ecosystems were shaped not by absolute dominance, but by dynamic balance. Dinosaurs may have slowed mammal evolution in one sense, but also pushed them toward unique adaptations. This theory reminds us that evolution is a long quest for balance, not a race. Dinosaurs and mammals shared the same stage in different roles, forming a quiet interplay of competition and adaptation, inviting reflection on the subtle relationships shaping life's history. 36. Dinosaur absence accelerated mammal evolution. This theory suggests that the mass extinction of dinosaurs opened wide ecological niches for mammals, which had previously been limited to smaller habitats. The disappearance of large herbivores and predators created freedom in food sources and living spaces. In this new environment, mammals diversified in size, diet, and lifestyle. Fossil records show rapid increases in diversity. Flying, swimming, running, and climbing mammals emerged, reflecting how quickly and creatively these gaps were filled. This theory reminds us that extinctions are not only endings, but also beginnings. The disappearance of dinosaurs may have triggered a long, calm, yet decisive rise of mammals, inviting reflection on the subtle balance between loss and opportunity. 37. Dinosaurs created microecosystems among themselves. This theory proposes that dinosaurs were not just individual species but formed small, interconnected ecological networks in their habitats. Paths created by large herbivores shaped vegetation, providing shelter and food for smaller animals, predators, scavengers, and parasites became part of a complex, balanced system revolving around the dinosaurs. A species' feeding habits indirectly shaped the habitat of another, creating functional microecosystems over time. Fossil sites with multiple species together show traces of these constant interactions. This theory reminds us that life operates not only on large stages, but also through small, local balances. The world of dinosaurs can be seen as a long, calm whole shaped by interconnected microecosystems, inviting reflection on relationships and interdependence. 38. Dinosaur evolution boosted the impact of marine life. This theory suggests that terrestrial dinosaur evolution indirectly affected marine ecosystems. Continental shapes, river paths, and coastal landscapes changed over time due to dinosaur activities, influencing nutrient flow and sediment into the seas. The shaping of plant life by large herbivores may have created new conditions in aquatic environments through erosion and nutrient cycles, affecting marine organisms from plankton to large sea reptiles. Fossil records show synchronous changes, suggesting terrestrial and marine systems were interconnected. This theory reminds us that life is not confined to boundaries. Dinosaur evolution may have quietly shaped the world of marine animals, inviting reflection on the invisible links between land and sea. 39. Some dinosaur species were linked to modern bird behavior. This theory proposes that certain dinosaur behaviors were early versions of behaviors we now see in birds. Herd movement, nest building, parental care, and vocal communication suggest a behavioral continuity across millions of years. Fossil nests, juvenile and adult remains together, and skeletal evidence indicate that these behaviors were established long before birds evolved. Specific movement patterns and postures may have functioned similarly to those of modern birds. This theory reminds us that evolution carries not only bodies but also behaviors. A long, calm bridge of behavioral continuity may connect the dinosaur world to modern birds, inviting reflection on the persistence of habits over time. 40. Dinosaur hierarchies influenced cross-species hunting. This theory suggests that social hierarchies among dinosaurs may have indirectly shaped which species hunted where and when. Dominant predators controlling certain areas may have pushed smaller or more agile species to hunt at different times or locations. This invisible order may have reduced competition while creating a more balanced distribution of resources. Fossil distributions and trackways in different layers and regions support this subtle behavioral partitioning. This theory reminds us that relationships in nature are shaped not just by strength but also by balance and harmony. Dinosaur hierarchies quietly guided hunting behaviors, forming a long, calm system that invites reflection on the fine line between competition and coexistence. 41. Dinosaur species speciated across continents through genetic isolation. This theory suggests that as continents slowly drifted apart, dinosaur populations sharing a common ancestor became geographically isolated, cut off from one another. These groups faced distinct climates, vegetation, and predator pressures. Over generations, small genetic changes accumulated, giving rise to new species that, while related, looked and behaved differently. Fossils of similar but not identical species on separate continents reflect these quiet traces of genetic isolation. This theory reminds us that geography is a powerful driver of evolution. Dinosaur diversification unfolded on drifting continents, shaped by time's steady but patient pace, inviting reflection on the long, calm relationship between distance and change. 42. Fossilization processes varied by dinosaur species. This theory proposes that dinosaur fossils did not form in the same way or under identical conditions for every species. The environment, body structure, and post-mortem circumstances strongly influenced how remains were preserved. Species living in or near water may have been buried quickly under mud and sediment, while those in arid plains might have remained exposed longer, leading to partial decomposition or scattering. Bone density, skin structure, and size also determined which parts survived over time. This theory reminds us that fossils tell not only the story of past life, but also how that life was preserved. The journey of dinosaur remains reflects a long, calm process shaped by species and environment, inviting reflection on the silent collaboration between time and matter. 43. Dinosaur bone structure evolved according to adaptations. This theory suggests that dinosaur skeletons were not fixed but shaped over time by their environment and lifestyles. Fast-running species developed lighter, longer bones, while heavy, large-bodied species evolved thicker, more robust bones. Hunting methods, diet, and movement patterns influenced load distribution and joint use. Fossilized differences in bone ratios and density reflect this adaptive process. This theory reminds us that the body is more than a shell, it quietly mirrors life. Dinosaur bones are part of a long, calm evolutionary adaptation to environment and needs, inviting reflection on the subtle relationship between movement and structure. 44. Dinosaur muscle structure supported diverse hunting strategies. This theory proposes that dinosaur muscles were shaped not just for motion, but for specific hunting styles. Some predators had powerful hind limb muscles for explosive speed, while others had endurance-oriented muscles for long pursuits. Jaw strength and the arrangement of neck and shoulder muscles affected how prey was captured, held, or dismembered. Fossil muscle attachment marks reveal how these strategies manifested in the body. This theory reminds us that internal structures evolved alongside behavior. Dinosaur muscles reflect a long, calm process of adaptation to hunting methods, inviting reflection on the balance between strength, movement, and survival. 45. Dinosaur evolution was sensitive to microenvironmental changes. This theory suggests that dinosaur evolution responded not only to catastrophic events and major climate shifts but also to subtle, local environmental changes. Gradual shifts in vegetation, water sources, or temperature could quietly increase survival pressures. Over generations, these small pressures accumulated, producing gradual changes in body form, behavior, and diet. Fossil records of slow, incremental differences reflect the long-term effects of microenvironmental influences. This theory reminds us that evolution is not always sudden or dramatic. Dinosaur change often unfolded quietly, guided by small conditions, as a long, calm process, inviting reflection on how great stories are shaped by tiny details. 46. Extinction of dinosaur species created interspecies ecological gaps. This theory suggests that the disappearance of certain dinosaur species was not just a loss but also created new spaces within ecosystems. When a species vanished, the food sources, habitats, and behavioral roles it occupied became available. Other species may have filled these gaps, exploring new sizes, diets, or habitats. Fossil records showing sudden diversification or the rise of certain groups hint at how these interspecies gaps reshaped ecosystems. This theory reminds us that extinctions are not only endings but also silent openings for change. The dinosaur world can be seen as a long, calm stage continually balanced by the arrival and departure of species, inviting reflection on the delicate interplay between loss and renewal. 47. Losses in dinosaur ecosystems affected marine life. This theory proposes that major losses in terrestrial dinosaur populations did not remain confined to land but indirectly influenced marine ecosystems. The disappearance of large herbivores and predators could have caused significant changes in vegetation, soil structure, and nutrient cycles. These changes, carried to oceans via rivers and streams, could have altered sedimentation and nutrient availability, affecting everything from plankton to large marine animals. Fossil evidence shows simultaneous transformations in land and sea, suggesting the two worlds were interconnected. This theory reminds us that life on Earth is a unified whole. Losses in dinosaur ecosystems could echo quietly through the balance of the oceans, as part of a long, calm process connecting land and sea, inviting reflection on their invisible links. 48. After dinosaur extinction, bird ecosystems expanded. This theory suggests that once dinosaurs vanished, their descendants' birds found opportunities to spread across broader territories. Previously occupied ecological niches became available, allowing birds to diversify in size, flight styles, and lifestyles. Fossil records and modern bird diversity reflect this rapid expansion. Forests, coasts, mountains, and open areas became populated by these new species, quietly filling the gaps left by the giants. This theory reminds us that extinctions can pave the way for new life. The bird world, following dinosaurs, unfolded as a long, calm process of steady adaptation, inviting reflection on the subtle balance between loss and rebirth. 49. Dinosaur biogeography became more complex with continental drift. This theory proposes that dinosaur distribution became increasingly complex as continents gradually moved apart. Once connected landmasses separated, scattering related species into isolated regions. Each separation exposed dinosaurs to new climates, vegetation, and ecological pressures. As species adapted, they diverged into new forms, similar but distinct from their ancestors. Fossils found on different continents illustrate these quiet traces of complex This theory reminds us that the movement of the Earth shapes life. Dinosaur distribution evolved alongside continental drift, forming a long, calm evolutionary map that invites reflection on the deep connection between geography and life. 50. Dinosaur species diversified according to microclimate zones. This theory suggests that dinosaur diversification was influenced not only by broad climate regions, but also by small, local differences. Even within a single large area, sunny slopes, shaded valleys, humid coasts, and dry interiors could create distinct microclimates. These subtle environmental differences gradually shaped dinosaurs' diets, body forms, and behaviors. Over time, these local adaptations accumulated, leading to distinct species even in nearby regions. Fossil records showing species variation across microhabitats reflect these silent influences. This theory reminds us that evolution is guided by both large-scale and local conditions. Dinosaur diversity emerged through a long, calm process shaped by microclimate zones, inviting reflection on how small details can shape the bigger picture. 51. Spinosaurus and other giant predators had different strategies for land and water. This theory suggests that some large predatory dinosaurs, especially Spinosaurus, did not live solely on land, but developed distinct hunting and movement strategies for both aquatic and terrestrial environments. Long jaws, conical teeth, and strong forelimbs may have been adapted for catching prey in water. On land, the same species might have adopted more cautious or different movement patterns. Differences in bone density and body proportions found in fossils support this dual lifestyle. This shows that some giant predators could exploit the opportunities of two worlds, rather than being restricted to one. This theory reminds us that the dinosaur world was more flexible than imagined. Species like Spinosaurus could have existed in a long, calm balance between land and water, inviting reflection on adaptation and movement across environments. 52. Dinosaur teeth dramatically defined their feeding niches. This theory proposes that the shape and structure of dinosaur teeth were key in determining their diets and ecological roles. Sharp, serrated teeth favored meat-eaters, while broad, flat teeth were suited for grinding plants. Such differences allowed species living in the same area to avoid direct competition for the same food, where patterns and arrangements in fossil jaws silently reveal this dietary separation. This theory reminds us that small anatomical details can shape entire ecosystems. Dinosaur teeth were part of a long, calm evolutionary system that partitioned feeding niches, inviting reflection on the deep connection between form and function. 53. Dinosaur species had different metabolic strategies. This theory suggests that dinosaurs did not all share the same energy usage. Different species developed varying metabolic rates and life rhythms. Some needed higher energy to move quickly, while others lived slower, more economical lives. These differences affected feeding frequency, daily movement, and even growth rates. Growth rings and tissue differences in bones reflect this metabolic diversity. This theory reminds us that life does not flow at a single speed. Each dinosaur species may have existed according to its own internal rhythm, inviting reflection on the subtle balance between energy and time. 54. Growth rings in dinosaur bones indicate age and growth rates. This theory proposes that the rings in dinosaur bones, much like tree rings, carry clues about age and growth speed. They silently record periods of fast or slow growth. Frequent, clear rings suggest steady, slow growth, while sparse rings indicate rapid development periods. These bone records help us understand life cycles from juveniles to adults. This theory reminds us that bones are not just support structures, they also carry the quiet traces of time. Dinosaur growth histories can be read as a long.com record written into their skeletons, inviting reflection on the relationship between body and time. 55. Dinosaur evolution followed geological time periods. This theory suggests that dinosaur emergence, diversification, and change followed the rhythm of Earth's geological periods. Continental shifts, gradual climate changes, and sea level fluctuations quietly guided which species emerged and where they spread. Each geological era brought unique conditions, creating opportunities for some species while challenging others. Fossil records showing bursts or slowdowns in diversification reflect this alignment. This theory reminds us that life flows with time. Dinosaur evolution moved in harmony with Earth's slow, steady changes, forming a long, calm process that invites reflection on the shared rhythm of stone, soil, and living creatures. 56. Dinosaur brain energy intake influenced behavior. This theory suggests that the amount of energy and nutrients supplied to a dinosaur's brain may have shaped its behavior and lifestyle. Brains with more energy could have allowed greater flexibility in perceiving the environment, reacting, and interacting socially. In some species, this may have led to more complex hunting strategies or organized social behaviors. Species with lower brain energy intake may have exhibited simpler, more predictable patterns. Fossil skull volumes and body ratios can help trace these differences. This theory reminds us that behavior reflects not only external conditions, but also the body's internal balance. Dinosaur lifestyles may have unfolded through a long CALM process, guided by the interplay of brain and body, inviting reflection on the subtle link between thought and matter. 57. Parasitic interactions existed among dinosaur species. This theory proposes that in the dinosaur world, small, quiet life forms like parasites also played a role alongside predator-prey relationships. Parasites living on skin, feathers, or inside organs could have indirectly influenced health, energy, and behavior. These interactions may have prompted some species to develop cleaning behaviors or avoid certain habitats. Fossil traces in bones, preserved skin, or other remains may carry the silent evidence of these hidden relationships. This theory reminds us that ecosystems are not composed solely of large, conspicuous creatures. In the dinosaur world, tiny organisms may have quietly shaped the fate of giants, inviting reflection on the hidden threads guiding life. 58. Dinosaur genital evolution influenced reproductive behavior. This theory suggests that evolutionary changes in dinosaur reproductive organs shaped not only biology but also mate choice and mating behaviors. Variations in body proportions and tail structures across species may reflect different reproductive strategies. These structural differences could have affected which individuals succeeded in mating, which behaviors were preferred, and which traits became prominent. Fossil evidence and comparisons with modern birds help illuminate this long evolutionary process. This theory reminds us that reproduction is not merely a biological necessity, but a delicate balance between form and behavior. Dinosaur reproductive life may have evolved as a long, calm process where body and behavior co-shaped each other, inviting reflection on continuity and adaptation. 59. Dinosaur-mammal interactions directed ecosystem balance. This theory proposes that the relationship between dinosaurs and early mammals was not just cohabitation, but a network influencing the ecosystem's balance. Small mammals may have fed on dinosaur eggs, while some dinosaurs limited the spread of these small creatures. These interactions may have established a subtle but persistent balance across food chains. Fossil evidence showing traces of both groups together suggests their lives were indirectly intertwined. This theory reminds us that ecosystems are not one-directional. Dinosaurs and mammals coexisted in a long, calm balance, determining each other's limits and opportunities, inviting reflection on the invisible bonds between large and small life forms. 60. Dinosaur egg size reflects species behavior. This theory proposes that dinosaur egg size provides insight into reproductive and life behaviors. Larger eggs may have produced more developed hatchlings, while smaller eggs may indicate investment in quantity over size. These differences could influence parental care, nest protection, duration, and the independence of offspring. Fossil nests, egg arrangements, and shell thickness offer silent evidence of this behavioral diversity. This theory reminds us that reproductive strategies are mirrored in body dimensions. Dinosaur eggs are small but meaningful markers of survival strategies, inviting reflection on these fragile beginnings that sustained life. 61. Dinosaur populations lost genetic diversity under environmental stress. This theory suggests that increasing environmental pressures during the dinosaur era gradually reduced not only individual survival chances, but also the genetic richness of entire populations. Long droughts, sudden temperature shifts, or shrinking habitats may have eliminated some individuals, narrowing the gene pool. This reduction could have made populations more fragile in the short term. Less diversity meant a more limited ability to adapt to new diseases or environmental changes. Fossil records showing sudden declines or the rapid disappearance of certain species can be seen as silent traces of this process. This theory reminds us that survival is not just about numbers. In the dinosaur world, declining diversity may have slowly undermined long-term balance, inviting reflection on the subtle link between fragility and adaptation. 62. Most dinosaur extinctions occurred through non-evolutionary events. This theory proposes that the disappearance of many dinosaur species was not always gradual evolutionary change. Instead, external events, such as massive volcanic eruptions, rapid climate shifts, or asteroid impacts may have removed species before they could adapt. In such events, being strong or well-adapted mattered less. Rapid environmental changes could leave even the fittest species vulnerable. Fossil records showing groups vanishing within short time frames may bear silent evidence of these non-evolutionary losses. This theory reminds us that nature does not always act slowly and predictably. Dinosaur history includes unexpected ruptures, forming a long yet calm story, punctuated by sudden change, inviting reflection on the balance between continuity and disruption. 63. Dinosaur extinction cannot be explained by a single event. This theory suggests that the end of dinosaurs was too complex to be attributed to a single catastrophe. Asteroid impacts, volcanic eruptions, climate fluctuations, and sea level changes may have overlapped, creating compounded effects. Combined pressures could have gradually weakened some species, while suddenly leaving others defenseless. Long-term environmental stress reduced populations, and the final blows may have pushed already fragile species over the edge. Fossil evidence showing both gradual declines and abrupt losses reflects this multi-layered process. This theory reminds us that major extinctions cannot be reduced to a single cause. The disappearance of dinosaurs may be seen as a long, calm, but inevitable process shaped by overlapping pressures, inviting reflection on complexity and fragility. 64. Comet fragmentation may have intensified asteroid impact. This theory proposes that the massive impact causing dinosaur extinction may not have been a single object. A fragmented comet striking Earth in multiple pieces could have amplified the overall effect. In this scenario, it was not just one large strike but several impacts in a short period. Dust and particles in the atmosphere could have blocked sunlight for an extended time, triggering faster and harsher climate shifts. Fossil evidence showing sudden and widespread environmental disruption may silently mark this chain reaction. This theory reminds us that catastrophic events sometimes arise from sequences of occurrences, rather than a single source. The end of dinosaurs may have unfolded as a long, calm period of darkness, left by these celestial fragments, inviting reflection on chance and fragility. 65. Chicxulub impact could have been an asteroid or a comet. This theory suggests that the exact nature of the object that formed the Chicxulub crater in the Yucatan Peninsula remains uncertain. Some studies point to a rock and metal-heavy asteroid, while others suggest an icy, volatile-rich comet. In either case, the impact released enough energy to drastically alter Earth's climate. Dust, smoke, and particles in the atmosphere may have blocked sunlight, causing prolonged darkness and cooling. The crater's structure and surrounding geological evidence silently preserve this uncertainty. This theory reminds us that even major historical events may not have a single definitive answer. Whether asteroid or comet, the Chicxulub impact set the stage for a long, calm, and irreversible end to the world of dinosaurs, inviting reflection on uncertainty and consequence. 66. Dinosaur eggs, large-size protected offspring. This theory suggests that producing larger eggs was not just a matter of size but provided an extra layer of protection for developing offspring. Thicker shells and greater internal volume may have kept the embryo safer from environmental hazards for a period of time. Such eggs could have better resisted temperature shifts, minor impacts, or moisture loss, helping the young develop stronger and more fully before hatching. Fossil nests with large, thick-shelled eggs may silently record this protective strategy. This theory reminds us that even at the very start of life, survival relied on subtle balances of protection and resilience. Dinosaur eggs can be seen as part of a long, calm process, making a fragile beginning a little safer, inviting reflection on the connection between birth and survival. 67. Dinosaur evolution was shaped by air cavities in bones. This theory proposes that air-filled cavities in some dinosaur bones were more than structural quirks, they were evolutionary advantages. These spaces reduced overall skeletal weight while maintaining strength, creating a more efficient body design. A lighter skeleton could make movement easier, conserve energy, and allow some species to grow taller. In some cases, this structure may have supported more efficient airflow within the body. Fossilized bone cavities may reveal these silent traces of adaptation. This theory reminds us that internal body architecture can profoundly affect life. Dinosaur evolution may be seen as a long, calm journey guided by subtle but effective changes beneath the surface, inviting reflection on the balance between structure and function. 68. Some theropods developed bird-like lungs. This theory suggests that certain carnivorous theropods evolved more advanced lungs similar to birds, allowing continuous and efficient airflow and better oxygenation of the body. Such a system could have supported prolonged activity, greater endurance, and a more active lifestyle. Bone cavities and ribcage structures provide indirect evidence for this respiratory adaptation. This theory reminds us that breathing is not only vital for survival, but shapes the rhythm of life itself. Some theropods may have undergone a long, calm transformation toward bird-like bodies, inviting reflection on the link between movement and respiration. 69. Dinosaur bones were strengthened by mineralization processes. This theory suggests that dinosaur bones gained durability not only through size but also through the distribution of minerals within their structure. Minerals deposited over time may have increased both stiffness and load-bearing capacity. This process would have been particularly important for species carrying massive body weight, helping bones resist breakage and cope with daily stress safely. Fossil bones with varied density and tissue patterns reflect these silent traces of mineralization. This theory reminds us that the strength of the body comes from within. Dinosaur skeletons may be viewed as products of calm, long-term biological engineering that kept them upright, inviting reflection on the interplay between structure and durability. 70. Dinosaur species developed skill-based predator-prey relationships. This theory suggests that predator-prey interactions in dinosaur ecosystems were not random chases but a balance shaped by each species' abilities. Predators may have excelled in speed, strength, or intelligence, while prey evolved camouflage, group behavior, or defensive structures. Over time, this mutual adaptation could have led to increasingly specialized traits on both sides. Small advantages for one group prompted the other to find new survival strategies. Fossil evidence of varied teeth, claws, and armor may silently reflect this long, reciprocal evolution. This theory reminds us that nature is not only about raw power. In the dinosaur world, predators and prey coexisted within a long, calm balance of skill and counterskill, inviting reflection on the fine line between competition and harmony. 71. Dinosaurs adapted physiologically to environmental changes. This theory suggests that dinosaurs responded to their constantly changing world not only through behavior but also by adjusting internal bodily processes. Fluctuating temperatures, shifts in food availability, and changes in water access may have prompted some species to quickly modify metabolism, growth rates, or body structure. This rapid physiological adaptation could have helped populations survive challenging periods. Changes observed in bone tissue growth patterns may serve as silent evidence of these internal adjustments. Dinosaurs, therefore, not only adapted to the environment, but also recalibrated their own rhythms alongside the changing world. This theory reminds us that life is shaped from within as well as from outside. Dinosaur bodies may be seen as products of a long, calm quest for balance, inviting reflection on the subtle link between change and adaptation. 72. Absence of dinosaurs gave mammals a chance to rise. This theory proposes that when dinosaurs vanished, ecological gaps on Earth were quickly filled by mammals. Habitats and food resources previously dominated by large dinosaurs became available to new animal groups. This new environment may have allowed mammals to expand rapidly in both size and diversity. Varied diets, habitats, and behaviors could have emerged within a relatively short geological timeframe. Fossil records showing increased mammal diversity after dinosaur extinction may silently reflect this period of opportunity. This theory reminds us that ecological vacuums rarely remain empty for long. The disappearance of dinosaurs opened the door to a new age for mammals, representing a long and calm transitional process, inviting reflection on the connection between loss and renewal. 73. Genetic diversity determined dinosaur survival. This theory suggests that the long-term survival of dinosaur species depended not only on visible traits like strength, speed, or size but also on the richness of their genetic diversity. A wider gene pool may have offered more options for adapting to unexpected environmental changes. Thanks to this diversity, some species could respond more flexibly to climate fluctuations, diseases, or changes in food supply. Conversely, genetically restricted populations may have been more vulnerable, even to minor environmental shocks. Fossil records showing sudden extinctions or long-term persistence may reflect the silent effects of these genetic differences. This theory reminds us that survival is shaped not only by external conditions, but also by internal diversity. Dinosaur fates may be seen as a long, calm balance guided by the quiet boundaries drawn by genes, inviting reflection on the link between variation and resilience. 74. Dinosaurs multiplied through adaptive radiation. This theory proposes that throughout their long existence, dinosaurs rapidly diversified into numerous species as new habitats and food sources appeared. This process, called adaptive radiation, may have driven groups descended from the same ancestor to spread into different ecological niches. One group may have adapted for speed, another for size, and yet another for different diets. This diversification enriched the dinosaur world in both numbers and forms. Fossil records showing the emergence of new species in relatively short time spans may silently reflect this rapid branching. This theory reminds us that life is never stagnant. Dinosaur history can be viewed as a long, calm journey of proliferation and expansion, inviting reflection on the connection between opportunity and diversity. 75. Dinosaurs developed behavioral adaptation to environmental pressure. This theory suggests that dinosaurs responded to changing environmental conditions not only through their bodies, but also by modifying behavior. Scarcity of food, increased predator pressure, or harsher climates may have led some species to migrate, reorganize social structures, or explore new feeding strategies. This behavioral flexibility could have helped populations survive challenging periods. Changes in nesting habits, hunting times, or more cautious movement may silently reflect these adaptation processes. Fossil tracks and nest arrangements could provide indirect evidence of these behavioral shifts. This theory reminds us that survival is shaped not only by the body, but also by mind and habit. The dinosaur world may be seen as a long, calm search for balance, adjusting behavior in response to environmental pressures, inviting reflection on the link between habit and adaptation. 76. Dinosaurs exhibited different forms of social activity. This theory suggests that dinosaur life was not limited to individual survival. Some species developed complex and varied social behaviors. Herd movement, seasonal gatherings, or group congregations may indicate the presence of diverse social structures. These social activities could have made protection, feeding, and reproduction safer and more efficient. Some species may have had leadership-like arrangements, while others maintained looser, flexible group structures. Fossil beds containing many individuals and trackways may silently reflect these communal lifestyles. This theory reminds us that the dinosaur world was not only composed of silent, solitary beings. Their lives could be seen as a long, calm process of social balance, occasionally coming together and dispersing, inviting reflection on the subtle relationship between individual and community. 77. Dinosaurs could exhibit behavioral learning. This theory suggests that dinosaurs were not purely instinct-driven, but could modify behavior through experience. More effective hunting techniques, learning to avoid dangers, or discovering new food sources may have been shaped over repeated trials. Such learning would likely be more pronounced in long-lived or herd-living species. Young individuals observing adults could silently pass knowledge across generations. Fossil evidence may not directly show this, but certain complex behavioral patterns could serve as indirect signs of learning. This theory reminds us that dinosaur life was guided not only by instinct but also by experience-shaped habits, inviting reflection on the fine line between instinct and learning. 78. Dinosaur behavior can be inferred from fossil traces. This theory suggests that understanding dinosaur life requires examining not just bones but also traces they left behind. Footprints, nest remains, clustered individuals, or feeding marks may carry stories, faded over time yet still readable. These traces could indicate whether a species traveled in herds, how it moved, its speed, or how it protected its young. The silence of bones, paired with these traces, begins to paint a more vivid picture of the past. This theory reminds us that the past is more than petrified remains. Dinosaur life may be read as a long, calm process where behaviors gradually emerge from footprints and small signs, inviting reflection on the link between traces and meaning. 79. Dinosaur species developed egg protection strategies. This theory proposes that some dinosaurs ensured the survival of their offspring by protecting eggs instead of leaving them randomly, nesting in hidden locations, arranging eggs in specific patterns, or adults staying near the nest temporarily may have been part of these strategies. These precautions could have reduced predation risks and maintained more stable environmental conditions like temperature and humidity. Fossil nests with regularly arranged eggs may silently reflect this deliberate protective behavior. This theory reminds us that dinosaur reproduction was not left to chance. Their egg-laying habits represent a long, calm process aimed at safeguarding fragile beginnings, inviting reflection on the balance between protection and continuity. 80. Dinosaur lifespans varied dramatically by species. This theory suggests that dinosaur lifespans cannot be explained with a single measure. Small, fast-growing species may have matured quickly and lived shorter lives, while large, slow-developing species may have survived longer, interacting with their environment for extended periods. Growth rings and bone structures provide clues about different species' growth rates and potential lifespans. These patterns suggest that some dinosaurs lived fast-paced lives, while others followed slower, long-term rhythms. This theory reminds us that the dinosaur world did not operate under a uniform sense of time. Their lives progressed at species-specific paces, short or long, yet in harmony with their surroundings, inviting reflection on the subtle link between time and life rhythm. 81. Dinosaur brain size influenced hunting and escape behavior. This theory suggests that how dinosaurs hunted or avoided danger was not determined solely by muscle power and speed, but also by the relative size and functioning of their brains. Species with larger or more complex brains may have assessed their environment better and developed more flexible and accurate responses. For predators, this could mean more strategic attacks. For prey, earlier detection and more effective escape routes. Skull structures and brain cavity proportions may carry indirect traces of these cognitive differences. This theory reminds us that survival in the dinosaur world depended not only on physical strength but also on perception and decision-making, inviting reflection on the subtle link between power and mind. 82. Some dinosaur species built clustered nests. This theory suggests that certain dinosaurs did not lay nests randomly or individually, but constructed them together in specific areas. Such clustered nests may have provided stronger protection against predators and helped maintain more balanced environmental conditions. Together, adult dinosaurs could defend the area, detect threats earlier, and allow their offspring to develop in a safer environment. Fossil beds showing side-by-side nests and eggs may silently reflect this communal arrangement. This theory reminds us that dinosaur reproductive behavior was shaped not only individually but sometimes within a community framework, inviting reflection on the fine balance between unity and protection. 83. Dinosaur feathers served thermal. This theory suggests that feather-like structures in some dinosaurs evolved primarily to regulate body temperature, not just for display. These structures could reduce heat loss in cold periods and prevent overheating in warmer conditions. Such thermoregulation advantages may have allowed species to inhabit a wider range of climates, Fossil evidence of feather impressions and skin structures may offer subtle clues of this temperature control function. This theory reminds us that dinosaur bodies were shaped not only for movement and strength, but also to maintain internal balance, inviting reflection on the relationship between heat and life rhythm. 84. Dinosaur feathers also facilitated communication. This theory suggests that feather-like structures may have served as visual communication tools among individuals, in addition to temperature regulation. Feather position, fluffing, or color could convey messages such as threats, courtship, or alerts. Such visual signals may have provided a silent yet effective way to communicate. Herd members could more easily understand each other's intentions or moods through these body cues. Fossil records cannot directly show this behavior, but feather diversity and placement on the body may indicate this communicative function. This theory reminds us that the body was not only a carrier, but also a storyteller, inviting reflection on the subtle relationship between form and meaning. 85. Dinosaur species undertook seasonal migrations. This theory suggests that some dinosaur species moved long distances during certain times of the year to follow food sources or reach more favorable climates. Seasonal changes may have shaped these migration behaviors, driving movements toward water, vegetation, or safer areas. Such regular movements may be observed in herd-living species or seasonal gatherings. Trackways and fossil finds of the same species in different regions may silently indicate these long journeys. This theory reminds us that dinosaur life was not static but followed a rhythm flowing through time and space, inviting reflection on the subtle connection between movement and seasons. 86. Dinosaur species showed speciation under environmental stress. This theory suggests that harsh conditions in a dinosaur's environment not only caused some species to vanish, but also set the stage for new species to emerge. Climate shifts, sea level changes, or large-scale transformations in vegetation may have separated populations and pushed them to evolve in different directions. Over time, groups from a common ancestor could develop distinct traits, eventually becoming independent species. Fossil records showing bursts of diversity and new forms may reflect these environmental pressures. This theory reminds us that challenges can create opportunity as well as loss, portraying dinosaur history as a long and calm process of diversification under stress, inviting reflection on the subtle link between pressure and transformation. 87. Dinosaur species adapted to different habitats. This theory suggests that dinosaurs were not restricted to a single type of environment, but could thrive in a wide range of habitats by adapting over time. Forests, open plains, swamps, and coastal areas may have required different adaptations for different species. Such adaptations may have led some species to develop longer legs, stronger jaws, or lighter, more agile bodies. Fossils found in diverse geographic and sedimentary contexts may silently testify to this wide ecological flexibility. This theory reminds us that the dinosaur world was not a single stage but a variety of landscapes, portraying their lives as a long and calm journey of spreading and adapting, inviting reflection on the subtle relationship between place and survival. 88. Dinosaurs influenced biological cycles through environmental interaction. This theory suggests that dinosaurs were not merely affected by their environment, but also shaped biological cycles around them. Large herds grazing, predators regulating prey populations, and migrations altering local ecosystems could have subtly reshaped ecological rhythms. These interactions may have influenced plant regrowth, soil nutrient cycles, and the distribution of other organisms. Fossil records showing sudden shifts or long-term balances may quietly reflect the dinosaurs' lasting impact on their ecosystems. This theory reminds us that dinosaurs were not just participants but active agents in nature, inviting reflection on the subtle interplay between life and environment. 89. Dinosaur species developed carnivore-herbivore balances. This theory suggests that dinosaur ecosystems maintained a long-term balance between carnivorous and herbivorous species. Herbivore populations and distributions were controlled by predation, while predators prevented herbivores from overconsuming the ecosystem. This reciprocal effect may have shaped both groups in terms of numbers and behavior. Fossil evidence of species ratios and trackways may indicate that this delicate balance persisted over long periods, even amid fluctuations. This theory reminds us that life is not one-sided. Carnivores and herbivores formed a long, calm balance, each shaping the other's existence, inviting reflection on the subtle link between opposition and harmony. 90. Dinosaur extinction resulted from multiple catastrophes. This theory suggests that dinosaur extinction cannot be explained by a single sudden event. A large asteroid impact, prolonged volcanic activity, and both sudden and gradual climate shifts may have occurred concurrently or sequentially, progressively challenging life. Each disaster may have affected the ecosystem differently. Reduced sunlight, declining vegetation, and disrupted food chains could have gradually exceeded species resilience. Fossil records showing both gradual declines and sudden breaks may reflect this multi-layered extinction process. This theory reminds us that extinction was not instantaneous but unfolded through successive shocks, portraying the past as a long, heavy process shaped by catastrophe and fragility, inviting reflection on the subtle link between disaster and survival. 91. Some dinosaur species developed adaptive aquatic traits. This theory suggests that some dinosaurs spent parts of their lives, carried out certain behaviors in ways adapted to water. Broad, flattened bones, strong tail structures, or streamlined bodies may have facilitated swimming and movement in aquatic environments. These adaptations could have provided a significant advantage for species that entered shallow waters to feed or lived near rivers and lakes. Fossil layers and certain bone structures may serve as silent evidence of this semi-aquatic lifestyle. This theory reminds us that the dinosaur world was not limited to land, portraying their lives as a long, calm journey across different environments, inviting reflection on the subtle interplay between habitat and adaptation. 92. Dinosaurs developed light-sensitive vision in certain environments. This theory suggests that some dinosaur species became better at using light-sensitive systems, particularly in low-light conditions or complex habitats. Changes in eye structure may have improved their ability to gather light or discern direction more clearly. Such sensory adaptations may have allowed twilight hunting, navigation through dense vegetation, or early detection of approaching danger. Skull structures and eye socket ratios may carry indirect traces of this visual adaptation. This theory reminds us that dinosaurs perceived their environment not just with their bodies, but with adapted senses, inviting reflection on the subtle link between light and perception. 93. Dinosaurs translated environmental signals into behavior. This theory suggests that dinosaurs didn't just passively sense their environment. They used these cues as guides for behavior. Temperature shifts, seasonal cycles, and fluctuations in food availability may have shaped decisions like movement, rest, or migration. This sensitivity may have allowed them to live more flexibly and harmoniously with their surroundings. Staying or leaving an area, escaping danger, or seizing opportunity could have depended on quietly interpreting these signals. This theory reminds us that dinosaur life progressed through continuous dialogue with the environment rather than chance, inviting reflection on the subtle relationship between signal and response. 94. Dinosaur species could be redefined in scientific classifications. This theory suggests that today's understanding of dinosaur species and groups may be revised over time as new findings and analytical methods emerge. Detailed fossil studies, subtle differences in bone structure, and advances in comparative or genetic methods could reveal that some species belong to the same group, while others belong to entirely different lineages. This reclassification may clarify the picture of dinosaur evolution. Specimens once thought to be separate species might represent different growth stages of a single species, or vice versa. This theory reminds us that science is not static but continuously self-correcting, portraying dinosaur history as a long, calm journey of reinterpretation, inviting reflection on the subtle link between knowledge and perspective. 95. Most dinosaur fossils may still be undiscovered. This theory suggests that the dinosaurs and fossils we know today may represent only a small fraction of the full past diversity. Countless remains may lie silently in deep layers of the Earth, in hard-to-reach regions, or in yet unexplored strata. The rarity of fossilization and the role of chance could mean that some species left no trace, while others are represented by only a few fragments. Consequently, today's dinosaur map may be incomplete, filled with gaps. This theory reminds us that what we know of the past is only a tiny fragment of a vast unknown, portraying the dinosaur world as a long, calm exploration that deepens with each new discovery, inviting reflection on the subtle relationship between the known and the unknown. 96. Dinosaur evolution continues to surprise paleontology. This theory suggests that research on dinosaurs still produces unexpected discoveries and new interpretations, even after many years. Every new fossil and analytical method has the potential to challenge previously certain ideas. The appearance of feathers in unexpected species, new behavioral traces, or the reconfiguration of evolutionary relationships are examples of this constantly renewing knowledge. Dinosaur evolution can thus be read like a slowly unfolding book, rather than a completed story. This theory reminds us that knowledge is never static. The dinosaur past evolves with each discovery, forming a long and calm process of learning, inviting reflection on the subtle relationship between curiosity and understanding. 97. Dinosaur biomechanics inspire modern robot designs. This theory suggests that dinosaurs' movement patterns and body structures are studied not only to understand the past, but also to inspire new ideas in modern technology. The arrangement of bones, joint ranges, and muscle placements may serve as guides for engineers seeking durable and efficient movement systems. Balanced walking in large species, tail-assisted stability, and the agility of small, fast-moving dinosaurs may have informed robotic design attempts. Nature's millions of years of trial-and-error solutions are being reinterpreted in today's world. This theory reminds us that dinosaurs are not just creatures of the past. Their bodies remain a long and calm source of inspiration, inviting reflection on the subtle link between nature and technology. 98. Dinosaur behavior models illuminate modern biology. This theory suggests that models of dinosaur behavior are useful not only for understanding the past, but also for interpreting the biology of living animals. Feeding habits, social structures, and interactions with their environment can be compared with patterns observed in modern species. Such comparisons may reveal that some behaviors have ancient origins, while others recur in response to environmental pressures. Dinosaurs serve as silent witnesses of a past that can be read through the present. This theory reminds us that past and present are interconnected. The dinosaur world can act as a long and calm reference point for modern biology, inviting reflection on the subtle relationship between time and continuity. 99. Evolutionary secrets of dinosaurs are still unresolved. This theory suggests that, despite detailed knowledge, there remain significant gaps and uncertainties in understanding dinosaur evolution. Fossil gaps, missing transitional forms, and evolving interpretations indicate that the full story is not yet visible. The origins and destinations of some species, and the timing and emergence of certain traits, remain topics of debate. Each new discovery answers some questions while creating new ones. This theory reminds us that the limits of knowledge are always slightly beyond reach. Dinosaur history can be seen as a long and calm journey of curiosity, inviting reflection on the subtle relationship between the unknown and understanding. 100. The true nature of dinosaurs requires further discovery. This theory suggests that our picture of dinosaurs is still incomplete. Fossils, measurements, and models so far represent only a visible part of a much larger story. Layers yet to be uncovered or details missed because the right questions haven't been asked may hold additional answers. Each discovery provides a slightly clearer, yet deeper, view of dinosaur anatomy, behavior, and the worlds they inhabited. The process unfolds like a gradually expanding realm of understanding rather than a set of final conclusions. This theory reminds us that knowledge is never finite. The true nature of dinosaurs is shaped by ongoing discoveries, forming a long and calm pursuit, inviting reflection on the subtle relationship between curiosity and exploration. Some questions are not meant to be solved, they only echo in the mind. Tonight, we listen to those echoes. Good night. See you in the next theory. This is Sleepy Theories.